Starscraper's Cave-In by Filip Miłuński and Janek Zalewski is a game currently running on Kickstarter. But before I start, I have a few side notes. Components you'll see in this video are not final. It's a prototype, but with final graphics. I'm friends with the designers, but now I'll give you my honest opinion about the Cave-In. So let's start. In Cave-In, players will play the role of galactic entrepreneurs and will try to gather the most wealth by excavating crystals and by buying powerful artifacts. For this, they will hire mercenaries and send them to war. But mercenaries will often change who they work for. Before the game, decide which faction you'll play. You get factions base and totem. If you play with less than 4 people, factions that are not chosen are set aside together with their token and set of mercenaries cards in the same color. Next, sort mercenaries cards based on their value. Each player gets 2 cards valued 1 and 1 card valued 2. Rest of the cards will create pyramid-shaped docks. Below the board, we will create crystals mine. Each crystal has its color, value and victory points player will earn by excavating it. Also, there are sometimes additional icons on them, but I'll explain them later. Mine is similarly created as docks. Artifacts cards are separated into 3 stacks that are put on the board. Now we can start the game. In your turn, player can do 2 actions. Both of them have to be different actions. So, what can we do? For example, we can send 1 mercenary to docks to recruit a new mercenary. You can recruit mercenary that is valued exactly 1 more than a card you just played. So while playing this card valued 2, I can hire mercenary valued 3 and take it to my hand. Then, with my second action, I can for example send mercenaries to excavate crystals. I can choose as many cards as I want, but they have to be in the same color. Those mercenaries can excavate crystals with a value same or less than the sum of all mercenaries' strength and in the same color as them. For now, I'll play just this 1 card to excavate this yellow free crystal. Cards that I have played are put aside in the order I've played them in such a way that you can see the card's values. You'll see in a moment why. Now it's next player's turn. When it's my turn again, the card I've played last is my leader. Action on this card is played automatically without spending any action to do this. So as you can see, the order in which we play the cards is very important in Cave-In. Thanks to my leader's ability, 3 of my mercenaries can be changed into any color I want. Maybe you saw that in mine there are crystals in colors that does not match any faction colors. Those crystals can be excavated by any mercenary's faction. So, what else can we do? Well, you can play the card and use an ability on it. You can send mercenaries to buy an artifact. Each artifact has 2 abilities and you have to decide which one you'll use by sliding the card beneath your base, either on the left or on the right side, thus covering half of the card. In the game, there will be a moment when you don't have enough cards in your hand to do anything good. So what then? Well, you can always recruit a mercenary valued 1 without a card. But you can spend both of your actions to take over any base on the table. It can be your base, then you just take all the cards back to your hand, but it can be other player's base. Then their current leader goes back to that player's hand and you get rest of the cards. I told you that mercenaries will change the person who they work for. In addition, you steal totem of the same faction as the leader which just ran away. At the end of the game, each such a totem will be worth 3 victory points. We play until mine collapses. Each time we excavate a crystal with such a symbol, there is a cave-in and we move the token 1 space right on the track. There is also a cave-in each time we take the last card from any stock in the game, mercenaries, artifacts or crystals. Depending on the number of plays, we play until 7, 8 or 9 cave-ins. We total the points from the crystals, artifacts, faction totems and faction symbols on the crystals. Of course, the more symbols you have, the more points you'll get. Cave-In is a very interesting game. On one hand, we have to plan our moves and gather mercenaries to use them to excavate big crystals. But by doing so, we are probably giving away our cards to other players. Designers call this mechanism discard building, and I have to say that the name fits it perfectly. You have to take into consideration the order, how many, and what type of cards you're playing. You can't play Cave-In like it's a solitaire game. Well, probably you can play this game and be very mean to others, but my games were different. We just took into consideration that cards we are playing will probably change possession in just a moment. The only caveat I have is the ending of the game. It can happen that nobody playing will want the game to end. They will optimize their moves with cards they have and don't allow cave-ins to happen. In this case, the end of the game can drag a little. But still, we are talking about 45-60 minute game? Cave-in is a very good game that you should look into, especially if you like interesting card mechanisms. My name is Martin, and this was Cave-in.